So this podcast, as you guys know, is called Biden Propagandists. And by the way, you heard some clips of the perfect propaganda from the media. Of course, you would expect propaganda from a politician like Barack Obama, and you heard that as well, and that's fair. But now we have CNN's Wolf Blitzer asking John King his opinion about the Trump press conference, and they basically talk about how what Trump did was propaganda. But meanwhile, CNN and MSNBC, of course, cut away from the press conference because they wouldn't show the slideshow. So here is the clip.
And then I stayed on through the George W. Bush administration. That was propaganda. That was not just a campaign video. That was propaganda aired at taxpayer expense in the White House briefing room. And it was selective cherry-picking information. Again, the president has every right to be proud of imposing the travel restrictions on China. He was criticized by other people at the time, and it turns out every public health expert will now tell you that helped. That helped. That was the one thing the president did early on.
So there you have John King talking to Wolf Blitzer about what the president did was propaganda with these slides and the timeline of the president and the coronavirus task force and how they responded accordingly. But meanwhile, they're not addressing the fact that they wouldn't even cover those slides because it was propaganda, and also setting up what I view as a campaign finance violation by saying the president had staff which are paid for by the government prepare these slides when they shouldn't have, because it was pure campaigning versus, well, look, if you're the president of the United States and you have a media that keeps asking you the same question over and over again, why didn't you act sooner? Why didn't you act sooner? You know, so forth. Why are there 20 million people unemployed? What did you know and when did you know it? At some point, you have to respond, and he just did it with a slideshow.
Must never have heard of the bully pulpit. I mean, the president has every right to go up there and say whatever he wants to whoever he wants about whatever he wants. And for the media to say that as some arbiter that, you know, the president can't address certain questions and can't, you know, display certain information is just, to me, asinine.
Exactly. And here, by the way, we have John King once again talking about how what President Trump did is a new low. The CNN of all people saying what the president of the United States did is a new low. And here is the clip.
When the president was asked by CNBC, is there going to be a pandemic? No, not at all. That was the president of the United States on January 22nd. The president in early February said, looks like in April, you know, in theory, it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. The president said then on February 26th at the White House, this is the flu, this is like the flu. He said in that same press conference, we're going to get very substantially 15 people, 15 within a couple of days, it's going to be down to 0. I could go on and on and on, Wolf, with other things the president has said. Again, he has every right to defend himself. He has every right to push back. He has every right to challenge things that are factually not true. But to play a propaganda video at taxpayer expense in the White House briefing room
expense
is a new, you can insert your favorite word here, in this administration.
There you go. So John King basically saying it's a new, you can insert your own word. What he meant to say, of course, it's a new low. And of course said that President Trump was creating propaganda. And then CNN decided to reset the stage with their own timeline of what exactly happened, which is, by the way, which isn't true. And look, when all this is over, Warren, as a country, clearly we're going to look inward and find out, what did we do wrong? Did we overreact? And where did we overreact, everywhere or just in certain places? How should we do this differently? Why aren't we prepared? All of the normal questions you should ask. But of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and CNN is all in on trying to wreak havoc with the American people. They want this guy to fail. They want this president to fail, which means they want America to fail.